Praise God, man. And remember, you talking to a guy that told God to his face that he would never be a full-time gospel musician.
Wow. Okay. So we need to.
Anything last on the list
Wow.
that I ever wanted to be, it was a gospel musician.
Wow. So we need to unpack that. We need we need to unpack that, because I know we scaling. We on this. We like Rick and Morty. We just going like across dimensions. Back here, back in there. We talking about old school in the 90s and the 80s, and then we jumping in and we talking about so okay. Let's get this. Let's jump back into we've been in the multiverse. Let's get back in the singular universe, and let's unpack some of these things, because because I've been rocking with you and I've heard these stories that you told over the years. I know it's a lot of people that see that have came in and seen you in different levels of the journey, and so that's where it kind of sticks. Some people know you, like I said, urban neo soul keys. Some people know you as as the musician. You got your people that know you from back home. There's some people, I'm pretty sure, in your circle that don't know anything about your music career. They just know you. Oh, he was an engineer and he went off and started a company and blah, blah, blah. So unpacking the journey. Okay. So you're an engineer. I think we'll start there. Engineer. You came out of school, engineering, you're in that gig. How do you, when and what point do you make that transition from engineer to, okay, I'm going to go out here and do this thing. I'm going to actually be a full-time gospel musician.
Gotcha. Well, we have to back up a little bit around high school. High school is when I first started playing, and I was playing for the first church. And I was the top, I had a lot of accolades in high school. I was one of the top basketball players.
Really?
I was a dunker. Yeah. Dunk contest, the whole nine. Yeah.
Whoa.
And I was top 5 of my class. So being top 5 of your class, now, mind you, we're talking in the 80s in the crack epidemic.
Yeah.
So a lot of the gospel musicians in Ohio were on crack.
Wow.
So that was my example. So me being top of my class, I said to myself, if that's what a gospel musician looks like, I don't want no parts of it.
Wow.
I still like playing, but it was so bad. I was in a church service at a quartet concert, and the cops came in to pull a guy off the drums. And the minister of music said, "Can we finish this song first?"
Wow.
Finished the song and pulled him off the drums.
Wow.
That's how it was in Akron in the crack epidemic. It was a lot of top gospel musicians that was on crack. So me being, in the engineering and sciences and being top of my class, I said, well, musicianship will be my side gig. I'll do that to worship the Lord.
That's good.
But no way am I going to depend on pastors in a church and playing for my income. I'll never do that. So I went to school, went to engineering, played for the Case Western Reserve Gospel Choir. You got to play for your school's gospel choir.
Yeah. I did that.
So I graduated, and so I'm this engineer by day, gospel musician by night. And so it was always, this is extra.
Uh-huh.
You want to play around with my money? That's cool. I'm an engineer. Don't need it. You want to hold off on the check and act like, oh, we can't pay you this week? That's cool. I'm an engineer. Don't need it. That's how I always wanted to work it.
Yeah.
Because I saw how the system was, and I was like, no way would I ever depend on this as my full, looking forward as a husband. So it got to a point, I played for one of the churches, and I never forget. I was at FCA, Freedom Christian Assembly, and this was a church that flowed prophetically.
Wow.
Like, I loved it. Literally, this is the church where you went in the morning to play while they were praying, and you literally played the whole service until 2. Flowing. So flowing is really my, I got that down. Like, I love that. I can sense where the spirit is going. that is my stuff.
Yes.
So there was a musician there named John Laird, and he said, "Man, I know you graduated in engineering." He said, "But do you think you're gonna be an engineer for the rest of your life?" I just
Wow.
graduated. I said, "What do you? Why would you say that?" He was like, "You got something here. I just don't see you being an engineer the rest of your life."
Wow.
And so I got mad at him, but I put it in my back pocket.
Yeah.
And then we had another visitor. It was a prophet from Chicago. You're not even gonna believe this. It was a prophet that came in from Chicago, and I didn't know he was the guest speaker. I was just really nice to him. I like to be nice to guests, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Yo, how you doing? Blah blah blah. Welcome. Blah blah blah. And he was like, "How you doing?" And I had no clue he was the guest speaker. And so I
Wow.
introduced him as the guest speaker, and he got up on the microphone. He said, he said, "You young man right there." He said, "You blessed me so much when I came here. You gave me such a good welcome." He
Wow.
said, "I'm gonna give you a prophet's reward." You know how
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
prophecy. He said, "The Lord told me to tell you, mind you, I just graduated from engineer, and I told the Lord I would never be a full-time musician."
Uh-huh.
He prophesied to me. He said, "The Lord told me to tell you." He said, "You're going to be one of the top gospel musicians in the man." I'm breaking in tears, man. He said, "You're going to be one of the top gospel musicians in the world." And he said, "You're going to have a school." And he said, "Musicians all over the world are going to come to you and learn how to worship and learn how to play before the Lord. And this school is going to go around the whole world."
Wow.
It sounded wild now, but then I just brushed him off like, "Oh, whatever."
Uh-huh.
I was like, I gave him the courtesy,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And I was like, and in my head, I was like, this guy has no clue. He has no clue. He's so far off. And I was like, he is so far off, but I gave him his courtesy, love, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good job, prophet. I know how this works. That's an easy prophecy. Of course, prophesy to the musician and
Come
tell him
on.
be the greatest musician ever. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll move on with my life.
Back to the keyboard.
I'm working these jobs, and the Lord is plucking away at me.
Wow.
Plucking away. I'm not hot. I'm not happy as an engineer. I'm sitting in a cubicle. I got all these desires. I got all this stuff. I'm sitting here on the internet, on Harmony Central, watching the NAM show on my job, saying, "I'll never get a chance to go to the NAM show." Oh my
Wow.
gosh. And I'm finishing the work so easily. Like, they're giving me these projects at the job. They're like, "Yeah, it took the last person two months to do." And I'm finished this stuff so easy because the work is so easy. I just came out of Case Western Reserve, one of the top schools in the country. And so I'm sitting there in my heart. And I said, "Oh, my heart is feeling bad." Now, check this story out.
Okay.
Everybody here probably knows Alan Parr from The Beat.
Uh-huh. Watch
Alan
this channel all the
Parr
time.
was my college roommate.
Nah.
Yes, he was my college roommate. We was all serving the Lord in the gospel choir in college. So
That's
he got his
crazy.
master's in engineering. Now check out this dynamic. All of my college people from gospel, they're leaving their professions. They're
Wow.
leaving their professions to go into ministry. One by one, accountant, ministry. Alan Parr was one of my friends.
Yeah.
He left his engineering job to go to seminary school in Dallas. And
Yep.
so at this
Wow.
time, I'm saying, man, maybe I'm missing my calling, Lord. Maybe this desire that I'm feeling in my heart is for me to go to Bible college. And the secret thing said, get your MBA.
Okay.
My friends are leaving. This is the more spiritual route, Father.
Right.
The spiritual route is to leave the comforts of a secular job
Uh-huh.
and to go into the ministry, right? That seems more spiritual. But my spirit said, nope, get your MBA.
Okay.
So I'm going, get my MBA, got my MBA, job paid half of it. And I'm sitting here and I'm dissatisfied. And I'm sitting here, and it got to a point that I said, okay, maybe this dissatisfaction, this uncomfortability from the
Yeah.
Lord is that I need to now go further in my secular career. Check
Okay.
this out. So I go for an interview. Since now I got my MBA, now I want to go into management. I go to an interview, and a secular guy, right? Don't know Christ. This is what a secular guy says to me. Man, you know what? You're way overqualified for this. He said, Jamal, you're bored. He said,
Wow.
everybody around the company sees this. He said,
Wow.
I don't know what you're called to do, but it's not this. This is
Dang.
somebody that don't know Christ at all.
Yeah.
And so God is like, boom, boom. And so I said, okay. All right. Okay. I'm supposed to do something else. So the internet was just at its peak. We're like in like 2002, 2003. And I said, okay, I'm working in IT. I'll do something on the web. So I paid $6,000 to pay for an internet coach. And I'm on the phone with the internet coach. He said, what do you like to do? I said, I'm an electrical engineer. He said, I can sell electronic parts online. And he said, well, you can do that, but you're going to be most successful at something that you're really passionate about. Is there anything that you do? You got any talents? I play the keyboards. He said, why don't you do something in that?
Wow.
So I said, okay, but never full time. So this is God just bringing me in. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna still get this job. And so I just started doing stuff on the video, and I started doing it. And it still was a part-time thing. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I did that 4, 5, 6 movement, Smokey Norfolk,
Yep. Need you now.
I Need You Now. And that blew up. That blew up like crazy. People's like, what? And I was like, okay, thank you. But this is part-time, guys. I don't have enough time to do this. And so I finally got my dream job. I was a sales engineer, and I moved to Philly. So
Okay.
I'm out of Ohio. I'm in Philly, freaking Philadelphia.
Right.
I'm a sales engineer making 6 figures. So sales engineers, your base salary is about 80. Then you get bonuses, so you make
Yeah.
about 120. So I'm 6 figures, living right across the street from King of Prussia Mall. I'm living it up. And at this time, before I left Ohio, I did that Urban Worship Classic with Jason Champion.
Okay.
And he was a former singer of the Rude Boys.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, not Rude Boys, Men at Large.
Okay. Yeah.
He's former singer of Men at Large. And so we did that video, but that video was just, and so during the day I'm this sales engineer, and at night on the weekends I have this laundry bag full of DVDs and VHSs, and I dump them on the UPS, and I'm just selling these stuff. And so part-time, but still nothing. I will not be a full-time engineer. I don't care what you do, Lord. And I'm just carrying these bags on the weekends full of Urban Worship Classics. They all knew me by name and everything. Right. And I'm doing good. Until one day, everything was perfect. They were sending me to San Diego for training. They was flying me out. I had a corporate expenses.
Sheesh.
I mean, I had the best job any engineer could ask for.
Sheesh.
And I remember one day I woke up in the morning and I had a presentation. And I woke up and I looked in the mirror and I said, this is the last day I'm going to work.
Wow.
There was no build up. There was no nothing. There was just a knowing in my spirit that I literally woke up and it was a small voice that said, you're done. And I looked in the mirror. I literally looked in the mirror and I said, this is the last day I'm going to work.
Wow.
And so I called my boss and he said, what's wrong? I said, you didn't do anything wrong. Everything here is perfect. I'm just done.
I'm done.
Now, mind you, I was not making the amount of money selling them little DVDs to support me.
Wow.
So
yeah.
There was straight a faith walk. My
Yeah.
dad was mad at me because, at that time, the old school black man dream is to you go and get you one of them good old corporate jobs. You get your 401k and you
401k,
retire.
retire.
That's dream. That's what we dream to do. And I said, Dad, I gotta stop you. I said, I would rather fail trying than succeed being miserable.
So wait. No. Say that again. Say that again for the people. That is a PowerPoint. I'm gonna put some trumpets or something in the background to play when you say that. Go say that again.
I said, Dad, I would rather fail trying than to succeed being miserable.
That's so good. I'm writing that down on my wall.
And so what happened was I quit the job, but I was in contact with Jermaine Griggs.
Okay.
Jermaine Griggs reached out to me. He said, well, why don't you let me resell that Urban Worship Classic? I said, sure, whatever. So I quit my job there and I got my money and stuff like that. And Jermaine was kicking butt. He's still kicking butt. Like Jermaine is killing. And so right before I left, and I always wanted to go to Florida. I always felt that I was called to go to Florida.
Okay.
So this was a perfect reason. I said, well, I'm going to go to Florida anyway. So I'm packing up. I'm getting ready to go to Florida. Jermaine Griggs sells the Urban Worship Classic, and he makes me about $30K in a month.
In a month. Now, okay, so
Take it back. In 2 weeks.
So a teacher's salary, basically, in 2 weeks.
If I make $100K here, he made me $30K there. That showed me the possibilities.
Wow.
That this could actually really be a thing.
Yeah.
And so I hadn't looked back since.